Hello and welcome everyone. Today I am going to talk about the absolute basics of Internet of Things. This is going to be a series of videos at the end of which you will be able to understand Internet of Things and multiple aspects of Internet of Things. As we know that Internet of Things is a very new emerging field, and in order to understand it you need to understand microcontrollers, internet and multiple other things like cybersecurity and cloud computing. Sometimes it is very confusing for people to understand why cybersecurity is a part of it. It's because Internet of Things is very vulnerable when it comes to being a target for hackers. It's easier because you have multiple nodes and those nodes are easily targeted by hackers. A hacker can be sitting right next to you or he can attack from far away, and those attacks are different, so cybersecurity is also a part of it. So if you're good at cybersecurity, your systems are most probably less vulnerable to attacks. But I'm not going to focus a lot on the cybersecurity part of it. I'm just going to focus on the microcontrollers, internet, and cloud computing. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Industrial Revolution and how it is significant to the progression of this field in future. The first Industrial Revolution mainly focused on mechanization, and it was heavily influenced by mechanical engineering. The second Industrial Revolution mainly focused on the management part of engineering, and how we can create more things with less cost was the main goal here. The third Industrial Revolution was mainly focused on how we can maximize the efficiency by reducing the labor cost. So they basically replaced humans with computers in the parts where they could. But when we look at the fourth Industrial Revolution, its main focus is on connectivity. Like, you can connect multiple devices together and you can make them work in a harmony. And that actually maximized the profitability of things to the next level. And with the help of something like AI, it can actually go to the next level. Because, for example, if you have a factory that is manufacturing mobile phones, you don't have to hardcore an arm to do a specific task. You can actually put a camera in there and it will detect that specific part, and they can remove and replace things. So this can actually improve the efficiency to the next level. Now let's look at the definition of Internet of Things. Over here, it is Internet of Things is a network of interconnected physical objects or devices that can collect and exchange data over the Internet. Obviously, this is a very accurate definition of Internet of Things, but I'm going to make things easier for you. In order to understand IoT, you need to understand that what is a thing and what is the internet. You know what is the internet, but you don't know what is a thing. A thing can be anything that can be connected through the internet. Your smartwatch, your phone, everything, each and everything is a thing in this context. So if you're connecting your watch to your microwave oven, for example, you're basically in an Internet of Things ecosystem. So it's quite normal in these days to have a system that is basically the Internet of Things. Now we are going to discuss why Internet of Things is so important. The first point is it enhances the efficiency and productivity. And it is because you can optimize the system and you can create the optimal system for your problem. And you can also take a lot of help from artificial intelligence and fuzzy logics, which can actually control your decision-making processes. Now, if we are being honest, the second point, improve decision-making process, is mainly a part of the data collection process. Because if you have more data, you know what your problem is, and you can create a system that can make ideal decisions in the perfect time possible. Again, it is a reference to artificial intelligence and data science. The third point is related to cost reduction and sustainability. And it is very obvious that if you have a system which is more efficient and more productive than a human being, for example, if you look at car companies, they're using IoT to paint their car, and it is way more efficient than a human being because humans can't spot the minute details in the car, but the high resolution cameras can, and they can actually improve upon the consistency of the paint throughout the body of the car. So it is very safe to say that it can reduce cost and it can improve the sustainability of the system. And with that, we are going to move on to the next point, which is the new business opportunities. This gives you a lot of new opportunities for your business. For example, the surveillance cameras that are put everywhere is a very big market, and so are many other things that you can do with Internet of Things, like for example, smart aquarium systems and much more. In multiple parts of the world, it is a $1 trillion industry, and you can actually pull a lot of money from it. The last point is the easiest to understand because it actually improves the quality of life. One of the biggest examples that we have is the pacemaker. Pacemaker have a battery, and doctors can know how much battery life the pacemaker have, so they make an appointment before time and they can replace the battery. And the other example is a little bit simple. If you have like this button in your phone which you can press and your gate automatically opens, or your smart home, for example, you're away from home and you want to turn a light on or turn a fan on or off, or you have this aquarium or you have a pet that you want to feed but you're far away, you can press a button and it will automatically feed your pet. All of these examples are based on IoT, and definitely, if you can see, it can improve your quality of life. Now the next part is what is the difference between a microcontroller and a microprocessor? And why am I comparing these two things? It's because microcontrollers are the basic building blocks of IoT. Now we are going to look at the differences between microcontrollers and microprocessors. The first difference that I will tell you is that microprocessor cannot survive without other devices. For example, if you do not have an extended RAM, or if you do not have an extended graphical processor unit, your processor won't work basically. And in the case of microcontroller, it is a complete package. Now the second difference between these two things is that microcontroller is built for a very specific purpose. On the other hand, a microprocessor is very generic. You can do multiple tasks with it. You can either create a video with it, or you can play video games on it, or edit an audio, or do whatever you like. For example, you're working in a word processor and you're writing your thesis, for example. It's also something that the microprocessor can easily do, but the microcontroller have a very tough time doing that. Now we're going to look at the microcontrollers that are famous for learning Internet of Things. The first one obviously is Arduino, and there are multiple Arduinos. You have Arduino Uno, you have Arduino Nano or Arduino Mega, but you can definitely buy any one of these and you can learn Internet of Things. And you won't face a single problem because they are built for learning the manipulation of microcontrollers. The second microcontroller is ESP8266 or ESP32, and the best part about these microcontrollers is that it have a built-in module for wireless communication. Arduino Uno or any Arduino do not have this thing. Maybe the latest Arduinos might support wireless communication, but the older versions do not. But among these, Raspberry Pi is the most unique one because it is neither a microcontroller completely nor it is a complete computer, because it has a lot of RAM, it has graphical processing power, but it is also a microcontroller. So it is basically a hybrid between a microcontroller and a computer. But in this tutorial, we are going to look at Arduino, and these are the parts that are inside the Arduino. Either these parts are external or internal. The difference between the external parts is that you can see them with your eyes directly when you look at the board, and the internal parts are those which you cannot understand just by looking at them. So microcontroller is an internal part. Then you have this clock, which is called clock crystal. It is because you have a lot of things related to time when you're using it, and time is a big part of this microcontroller. I'm going to explain in the future tutorial. Then you have voltage regulators. You can increase and decrease voltage, and you can also increase and decrease the time it flows through the pins. Then you have input-output pins. Then you have USB connector, reset button, LEDs, headers and connectors, power supply pins, and ordinary memory. These are all parts of Arduino, and this is definitely being oversimplified, but you can understand it in detail. You have this all mapped out on their official website, so you can go through that. This is definitely a very simple way of understanding Internet of Things, but I'm going to talk about the details of these things, and I'm going to try to make it as easier as possible for you to understand what Internet of Things is and how to start learning it. And after that, you can watch any video, any other tutorial, and you can get into more details. But this tutorial will definitely give you a head start on how you can learn Internet of Things. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Thank you.